39b, towards the bottom. Amar Rabbi Yanai. There's about 8-10 lines from the bottom. Amar Rabbi Yanai, Aliyas girl mitoch kalpi ma'akeves. Bringing up the lottery from the lottery box will invalidate, is necessary. And if you don't have it, it will invalidate the carbon if you didn't do it. Hanacha ena ma'akeves. But placing it down on the goat itself, ena ma'akeves, is not necessary. However, Rabbi Yochanan says, even bringing it up from the lottery box is not necessary. Meaning, of course, it's a mitzvah. The Torah says you should do it. But as we know, it's not. If it's in carbon and it's not repeated, it's not going to invalidate if you didn't have it. So over here, it's not going to invalidate if you didn't have it. And also, it doesn't say chukah. There's a general rule that if the Torah says that it's a statute, then it's necessary. So the Gemara now brings a machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia later on, where they both say that if in all the clothing, all the mitzvahs done in the white garments are going to be necessary and invalid if you don't do it on the inside of the what's done inside the Beis Hamikdash. But what's done outside in the courtyard, there Rabbi Yehuda says it's not going to invalidate. Rabbi Yehuda says it's not going to invalidate, and Rabbi Nechemia says it will invalidate. Rabbi Yehuda says, look, it's done in the courtyard. So if you did it outside, it's not going to invalidate. And Rabbi Nechemia says, no, since it's not done, since it's done with the white garments, meaning it's specific and special for Yom Kippur, it must be done otherwise it's invalid. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar Dvar Manasseh B'Big Delovim B'Chutz Le'Ma'akveh, that which is done outside in the white garments, outside of the Beis Hamikdash in the courtyard, will not invalidate. So everybody would agree, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai will agree, it's not going to be invalid because the Hagrala, this lottery, is done in the white garments outside in the courtyard. So where's the machlokas? According to Rabbi Nechemia, Manda Amar Ma'akva Rabbi Nechemia. So the one who says that it's going to be invalid is like Rabbi Nechemia because he says that that even what's done in the courtyard is invalid if you didn't do it. Omanda Amar Loy Ma'akva, and the one who says that if you didn't do it, it's not going to invalidate. Hani Mili Avodah Grola. Avodah. Even Rabbi Nechemia says, you know what? That which is done outside in the courtyard must be done. Why? Because it's a service. It's a part of the daily service. The lottery is not a service. The lottery is simply to figure out what you need to do for the service. Agrola lav avedi. So that's the basis of the machlokas. However, we have another opinion, which is stricter, and says according to Rabbi Nechemia, that says that if anything done in the white garments must be done, otherwise it's going to invalidate the avodah. Everybody agrees it's going to be invalidating. It's ma'akev. It's going to be invalidating if you don't do it. The one who says it doesn't invalidate if you missed it, is like Rabbi Yehuda. Here, even though that typically says it's not going to invalidate, Rabbi Yehuda, here the Torah repeated itself. It said Asher Allah, which went upon it, Asher Allah went upon it, Trei Zimni, twice. So since it requires the Hagrala, the lottery, to go on twice, so therefore that tells you once for the mitzvah, and once to tell you if you didn't do it, it's invalid, and that is the reason it would be invalid. So now we're going to ask contradiction and try and prove whether or not missing the lottery is going to be invalidating if you didn't do the lottery. Mesaves to ask a contradiction. There's the second to last line on 39b Lamed with base. Mitzvah lahagril. The Brisa says it's a mitzvah. It is necessary to do. It's an obligation to do the hagrala, the lottery, and to see which goat goes to Hashem and which one says it. Vim lehigril, and if you didn't kosher, it's going to be kosher. Now, so according to the first version over here that said, according to Rabbi Yehuda, everybody says it's going to be okay. So Hamani, Rabbi Yehudi. So we can attribute this brisa according to Rabbi Yehuda. Now we go to Mem Amid Aleph 40a at the top. But according to the opinion that says, wait, it is even Rabbi Yehuda who says that everything done in the white garments is necessary, and if you miss it, it's going to be invalid. That's only on the inside in Beis Hamikdash or the Kodesh HaKadoshim, but in the courtyard, it's not going to be invalid. Nevertheless, over here, Rabbi Yana is going to say that it's going to be invalid if you didn't do the Hagrala. So Bishlam and Manam Eloi Ma'akva. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, it says it's not going to invalidate. Amani, Rabbi Yehudi, and this is the opinion of Rabbi Yehudi, Elamanam Ma'akva, but according to Rabbi Yana, who says that if you didn't do the lottery, it invalidates it. Hamani. So why does it say over here that it's a mitzvah to do the lottery, and if you didn't do it, it's going to be okay? Whose opinion is that? There's no one who has that opinion. So the Gemara answers, Tani mitzvah lahaniach. What it means is not to do the lottery. Of course, you have to do the lottery. You have to do the lottery, but you don't have to put the lottery down on the goats. Everybody agrees that if you didn't put them down, it's still going to be that. And that's the part that the Mishnah, the Bryce is talking about. Tashma, I'm going to try and prove it again. Mitzvah lahagril. It says it's a mitzvah to do the lottery. Ule hisvados. And besides for doing the lottery, it's a mitzvah also to state the sins, to do vidui on the goat that's going to be sent out to the desert. What happens if he didn't do either of those? He didn't do the lottery. He didn't do the vidui. Kosher, it's going to be kosher. Now, wait. We have an opinion here that says that if you didn't do the lottery, it's going to be invalid. How do we explain that brisa? And if you're going to tell me no, here too, it doesn't mean to do the lottery. It means to place the lottery down. That's going to be invalid if you didn't do it. Ema Seifa. Look at the next line. You can't say that. Why not? Because in the next line we have Rabbi Shimon Omer. Rabbi Shimon says, Lo yihigril kosher, lo yisvade posel. If you didn't do the lottery, it's going to be kosher. But if you didn't do the vidui, it's not going to be kosher. So what did we say that means? It doesn't mean you didn't do the lottery. You have to do the lottery. Rather, what does it mean? You didn't do the placement. Well, actually, we're going to see Rabbi Shimon can't mean that. Because Rabbi Shimon says, if you didn't do the lottery, and which we say means you didn't put the placement of it, that's going to be kosher. If you didn't do the vidui, that's going to not be kosher. Now, what I can infer from that, if you didn't put it down on the goat, the lot, you didn't put it on the goat, that's going to be still valid. But if you didn't do the lottery itself, you're trying to explain this brisa to mean that it's still not going to be okay. It's not going to be okay if you didn't do the lottery. Well, we have a statement explicitly from Rabbi Shimon who says that if you didn't do the lottery, it's going to be okay. So my lo yihigril. What does Rabbi Shimon mean when he said, if you didn't do the lottery, it's okay? If he means that you didn't put it down, meaning the lottery itself is necessary and will invalidate if you didn't do it. That can't be. Vatani, we learned, we know that you have two goats, and the two goats are brought in front of the Kohen Gadol. We saw in the last Mishnah, he brings them at the eastern gate where they come in, and the Kohen Gadol puts the lottery on them, right? And then what happens? One is designated Lashem, one is designated like Lazazel. Everything's going fine, and and as he's doing the rest of the avodah, one of the goats dies. The lottery is already done. So we'll see various opinions later as to what happens if one of the goats die, and now you're supposed to have had a pair. We'll see later it's supposed to be exactly the same and look the same, etc., etc. And now one of them died. So what do you do? So Rabbi Shimon is of the opinion, maybe you just bring another goat without a lottery, and it's okay. Meaning, it's okay to be designated for whatever it is without a lottery. You did the mitzvah of the lottery before, and now one of the goats dies. You just bring another goat as a replacement. You don't have to redo the lottery. But you're just telling me that according to Rabbi Shimon, missing the lottery is going to invalidate the whole korban. Elamai must be that Rabbi Shimon is of the opinion that you don't need the lottery. It's a mitzvah to do, but you missed it. You missed it. Once you did the mitzvah, it's done. You just bring another goat in. You forgot to do it. Okay, it's done. It's going to be kosher. So you can't tell me, according to Rabbi Shimon, it's going to be invalid if you missed the lottery, because he even says that you could bring in a goat without anything. So Gemara says you're right. Rabbi Shimon, lo yada mai kamri Rabban. Rabbi Shimon is responding to the Chachamim, not knowing what they meant when they said that lo higril kosher, and they said, well, you said if you didn't do the lottery, it's kosher. I don't know what that means. Do you mean putting it down? Do you mean doing the lottery? Either way, I hold that it's okay, but I don't know what you mean. So that's what they say. And this is what they're saying to them. Did you mean actually not doing the lottery? Kamrisu. Fine, so I agree to you with that. Then I'm only disagreeing in one matter, because I hold if you didn't do the vidui, it's going to be invalid. If you didn't lean your hands on the goat, the Kohen Gadol didn't lean his hand on the goat and say the sins of Bnei Yisrael, that's going to be invalid. Now, ihagrola the kamrisaina anacha. However, if you say that no, the lottery is going to be invalid if you didn't do, and it's going to invalidate the korban if you didn't do the lottery. And when they said that without the lottery it's going to be okay, they were referring to putting it on the goat. Then I disagree with you on both. I think that's not necessary. And if you didn't do the lottery, it's still going to be okay. And I think that not doing vidui is not going to be okay. You miss that, it's going to invalidate. So Rabbi Shimon says the lottery, mitzvah, but not necessary. The vidui, mitzvah and necessary. And if you didn't do it, it's going to invalidate it. So back to our question of whether or not vidui, or the hagrola, the lottery, is important, where we still don't have a proof. Now the Gemara later is going to continue with this idea and explain the basis of Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda about the goat being it's necessary for it to be standing. But in the meantime, the Gemara here is going to bring us another proof. And for this proof, we have to go through the steps of what is necessary, what is the avodah with the white garments in on Yom Kippur. And this I took from Daf Yomi. It's a great summary. If you can get to Daf Yomi and see their summary, they'll give you the 12 steps. So I didn't mean 12 steps. It's 12 steps you call AA for. Yeah. So we know that the Kohen Gadol did all the avodah on Yom Kippur, and as we saw in the previous Mishnah, he would change into the white garments, and after going into the white garments, he would do the avodah specific to Yom Kippur, as opposed to in the morning he did the daily avodah. Now he's doing the avodah that's specific to Yom Kippur. What is that avodah? He has to go to the bull of the Kohen Gadol, which we saw is near the opening of the Beis Hamikdash, and he would lean and say the vidui of his sins. Then he goes to the goats, which are at the entrance to the courtyard, and there he would do the lottery. Then he goes back to his bull and he says another vidui for all kahanim. Then he would slaughter. He shechts the bull. Okay, so he started off a vidui with the bull, goes to the two goats and does the lottery, goes back to the bull and he does the vidui a second time, for this time for all the kahanim. Then they shecht the bull. Then he goes and he does the incense on the inside of the. So he receives the blood, has a kohen mix it, while he goes inside and he brings the incense into the Holy of Holies. After he brings the incense to the Holy of Holies, he brings some of the blood. He spritzes some of the blood on the inside of the Holy of Holies. Then he goes out and he shechts the goat lashem. Okay, so he's in the meantime only done the lottery on the goats. Then he goes inside and he brings the incense on the holy inside the Holy of Holies. He spritzes blood of the bull on the Holy of Holies. Then he goes back and he slaughters the goat, is shech, the goat. Then he brings the goat blood and he spritzes it in the Holy of Holies. Then he comes out, so that he's done spritzing in the Holy of Holies. He's done the incense of the Holy of Holies. He comes out and he spritzes the bull blood on the curtain, on the paroches, from the outside of the Holy of Holies. And then he spritzes the goat blood from on the Holy of Holies. First the bull, then the goat. And then he mixes both of the bloods together, and he takes it and he spritzes it on the golden altar, the mizbeach on the inside of the Beis Hamikdash. And then he comes out and he says vidui on the goat that goes out to the desert and sends it out into the desert. Okay, so those are the 12 mitzvahs to be done in the garments. To review you again: vidui on the bull, the lottery of the goats, the vidui on the bull again, the shechting of the bull, the bringing of the incense in the Holy of Holies, the spritzing of the bull blood on the Holy of Holies, the shechting of the goat, the spritzing of the blood of the goat blood on the inside the Holy of Holies, the spritzing the bull blood outside of the Holy of Holies, the spritzing of the goat blood against the curtain outside of the Holy of Holies, and then mixing the blood, putting it all the two bloods, and putting it on the golden altar on the inside altar of the mizbeach in the Beis Hamikdash, and then going out and saying vidui for all of Klal Yisrael on the goat. That's the order. Now, this is necessary for the understanding of this coming brisa, because the brisa is going to say, if you did the goat before the bull, it's going to be invalid. The goat doesn't count. You have to redo the goat. If you did the bull out of order, then it's going to be okay. Now, what does that mean? If you did the bull out of order, what step did you do out of order? We understand that if you did the goat before the bull, because in each one of these steps, the first you did the bull, then the goat. So if you did the goat first, it's going to be invalid. But then it says the other way around. The goat is not going to withhold the bull. In what manner? What if you did the bull without doing the goat? What step are you missing? And the Gemara is going to say, must be you didn't do the lottery, right? Because that's the only thing of the goat that you do before the bull. As we said, you do the vidui of the goat, of the bull, lottery, vidui of the bull, and then you shech the bull and spritz the bull, right? So the only thing that you had there with the goats was the lottery. And if you skipped the lottery, meaning you did the bull parts before the goat, the only place that can be is that you didn't do the lottery, which tells us that the lottery is not necessary. I mean, it's a mitzvah, but if you didn't do it, it won't invalidate. That's the Gemara's attempt here at a proof. Tashema. Parma akevas asayir. The bull will invalidate the goat, meaning if you didn't do the bull yet and you did the goat, it's going to invalidate the goat, and you have to redo the goat. Sawyer, apart, but if you didn't do the goat and you went straight to the bull, it's going to still be valid. The matanis shabefnim in the spritzes of the inside, okay? Um, Now, Bishlam par ma'akav asar. So Gemara says, I get it on the bull invalidating the goat. That's easy, right? If you did the goat prior to doing the bull, that's invalid. The iakdama l'soyer. You did the goat first, mikame par, before the bull. Loy avid v'loy klum. The goat doesn't count because the kohen first has to shecht the bull and spritz the bull blood inside the Holy of Holies, and only then can he shecht and spritz the goat. And if he did it earlier, it's going to be invalid. Elasoyer ma'akav is a par. But in what way do we say that if you did the bull before the goat, it's invalid? It's not going to be invalid. The bull is meant to be done before the goat. Oh, there's only one thing of the goat that's done before the bull. What is that? The lottery. Mainiu. So Gemara says, well, actually, there could be one other thing. We said the order is like this. You do the bull spritz inside the Holy of Holies. Then you take the goat blood and you spritz in the Holy of Holies. Then you take the bull and you spritz it outside on the curtain. And then you take the goat outside on the curtain. Well, so maybe what happened is he spritzed the bull on the inside, spritzed the bull on the outside, and then spritzes the goat on the inside, right? So, but that's out of order because you're supposed to spritz the bull on the inside of the Holy of Holies, the goat on the inside of Holies, the bull on the outside, and he did the bull earlier. Well, actually, that would invalidate it because there it says chukah. It says that is a statute. Statute always means, as we said, when it comes to kachim, either if the Torah repeats it or if it calls it a statute, a chok, then it's going to be invalid if you didn't do it as prescribed. So that for sure would be invalid if you did that. If the Kohen Gadol spritzed the goat blood after he spritzed the blood on the bull outside, the bull on the outside is going to be invalid. So he would have to go back and spritz the goat blood and then come back out and spritz the bull blood again on the curtain because it would be invalid. He did it out of order. Because it says chukah, it says it's a statute. Elolav, so that can't be it. So what must it be? The aktim matanas the par b'fnim, he spritzed the blood on the inside of the Holy of Holies of the bull, mikame hagrola, even before he did the lottery, So, which tells us that the order of having the lottery of the bull is not going to be invalid. It's not going to invalidate the goats, even though he missed the lottery. Now, he missed it in order, which means that it's not necessary. If the order is not necessary, then having the lottery at all is not necessary, at least what's the Gemara thought right now. Since what's the reason the order is not necessary? Because if you skipped it, no harm done. The lottery itself must not be necessary. It's a mitzvah, but if you didn't do it, it's still going to be valid. The Gemara says, "Loi, that's not the invalidation. The akte matanas the power b'mizbeach mekame matanas the soyer behechel." Perhaps what happened is that the third step of the spritzes wasn't done. We said he has to spritz the bull on the inside of the Holy of Holies, then the goat inside of the Holy of Holies. Then he has to spritz on the curtain, the bull, and then the goat. And then he's supposed to spritz and mix the bloods and put onto the altar both of the bloods. What he did was he did the bull first and then the goat. Didn't mix them. He did it separately and did the bull first before the goat. And so it's not that he missed the lottery. He had to do the lottery because it's going to be valid if you don't do it. Maybe, perhaps what it means is that he put the bull blood on the mizbeach before the goat. Rabbi Yehuda, and this is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. So it says this must be the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who says that anything done in the white garments, if it's done outside, does not invalidate, and but what's done on the inside if you didn't do it in order, it's not gonna. It will invalidate. So over here, the problem is it's on the inside, so it must invalidate. Right? These are spritzes on the inside of the mizbeach, inside of the holy of the Beis Hamikdash. Ela mani Rabbi Shimon. Must be this is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. So you're right. We're going to have to say that the lottery is missing. He missed the lottery, and this brisa does indeed say that if he missed the lottery, it will not invalidate the goats. But we have an opinion like that already. We know that's the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. So, okay, so that we have such an opinion, and we're going to have to say, yes, there is a brisa. There is a brisa that says that if you miss the lottery and you did the bull before the goat, meaning you shechted the bull and spritz its blood prior to doing the lottery of the goat, it's going to be invalid. And so it's still going to be valid. The goat will still be valid. The bull will have been valid.
How do you know which goat is if you don't do the lottery?
He just picks one.
He just picks one.
Yeah, without a lottery, he will have. Great question. The way we're assuming, right, is this a goat to his right, a goat to his left. He puts the head and then takes the lottery, and he puts one on the one and one on the other. This one becomes Lashem, this one becomes Azazel, and none. And he didn't do that. So he missed the lottery. He comes out and says, "Oh, I forgot the lottery. All right, give me the right one there." Right, and he goes ahead and he does it. So he just did it, and according to Rabbi Shimon, that would be okay. So this is going to be the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. Or we could say this is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. And he says the order is not necessary, but the lottery is necessary. So all it means is if you did the bull first and you come out and say, oh, we didn't do the lottery. Okay, let's do it now. No harm done. No harm done. We did it right and we're going to do it now. You still have to do the lottery, but it doesn't have to be done in order. And that's what's going on. Okay, back to this discussion that we had about one of the goats having died that Rabbi Shimon says you could just replace it as is and the lottery is not necessary. And so we have this brisa that talks about this, where we know that Rabbi Shimon says you don't need the lottery, but you do need the vidui. And if you didn't do the vidui, it's not going to be valid. If you didn't express the sins of Am Yisrael on the goat, not going to be valid. And Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim, they said, actually, you don't need, maybe you need the lottery, but you don't need the vidui. And this follows their opinion elsewhere. The Tani we learned in a brisa, now we go to Mem Amid Beis 40b. It says, the other goat will stand alive before Hashem to atone to atone on it, right? That the atonement will be done on it. Now, there's this extra word there. It should just say, it shall remain before Yamed lifnei Hashem l'chaper olav. It will remain before Hashem. When we would understand that means it has to remain in the Beis Hamikdash. What's the word chai? It will remain alive. That's not necessary. So Ad Masai, so Brisa says, Ad Masai yezakik lamad chai. Oh, how long does it have to remain there in the Beis Hamikdash? Alive. Because obviously, just to say that you didn't send it out yet to the desert, it wouldn't be necessary to say alive. Since it says alive, it must be that if it died, you have to replace it. Rabbi Yehuda says, if it died prior to spritzing the blood of the other goat, it's going to be it needs to be replaced and invalid because it says lechaper. It says it will remain alive before Hashem to atone. What's the atonement? The spritzing of the blood of the other goat is the atonement, as we know generally that the spritzing of blood is atonement. So over here too, the spritzing of the blood is the atonement, the zerika, and it says to remain alive until the atonement. So until the other blood is spritzed, the other goat's blood is spritzed. That divrei Rabbi Yehuda. That's Rabbi Yehuda. However, Rabbi Shimon Aimer achas vidu dvarim. Rabbi Yehuda says no, and it has to remain alive until the sins of Bnei Israel have been set on it. Because over here, as we've seen earlier, that the reasoning of the basis for the atonement here is devarim, is the kaparas devarim, the vidui statement. So here Rabbi Shimon says too, it has to remain alive until you atoned, meaning until not only until the blood was spritzed, but several steps later, when the Kohen Gadol would come back out. The Kohen Gadol would come back out to the goat that's being sent to the desert, and he will atone the sins by leaning on it and stating the sins of an Israel. So that's how long it has to remain alive. So we see the basis of Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, is Rabbi Shimon says the atonement is necessary. The statement of the atonement is necessary. And Rabbi Yehuda says no. As soon as you spritz the blood, there is an atonement. So if you miss the vidui, okay, so you missed the statement. The atonement already happened a step beforehand by the spritzing of the blood. So if you miss the vidui, it's going to be okay. So what's the basis of this machlokes? Kedetanya, like we learned, lachaper. We saw earlier that the goat over here is as an atonement, yeah, and we saw by the bull it says v'kila mikaperes hakodesh, and it's an atonement. Yes. Now, the first opinion says that it's atonement of the spritzing of the blood, like classic atonement. Like it says also that and he will complete the spritzing of the atonement for the holy, for the Beis Hamikdash, which is the spritzing of the blood. Just as over there, the atonement reference is the spritzing of the blood, so to over here, the atonement reference is spritzing of the blood. And Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, that the goat affects atonement for Bnei Yisrael with the spritzing of the blood of the goat. Rabbi Shimon love. No, it says to atone for him the kaparas devarim hakazim adaber. It's talking about the atonement of vidui, of the statement, and this is based on what we saw earlier, also by the bull, that the atonement is referenced is the kaparas devarim. Tashema. So we're going to try and go back and prove this. Shalu talmidav Rabbi Akiva. The students asked Rabbi Akiva, what's the halacha? Allah bismoil ma'ashiyachzer liyamin. If he got up, he took the lotteries, and Lashem came in his left hand. What should he do? Can he switch it to his right hand? That's the first text of the question. Amalahan. So Rabbi Akiva says to them, Al titnu makim leminim lirdos. Don't allow the early Christians, the minim, to oppress us, because the early Christians say like, oh, rabbinic Judaism, it's there's nothing there, right? It's all, they just do whatever they fancy. And if you're going to say that you can switch it from the left hand to the right hand, right? So they're going to say, look, they just do whatever they want. The lottery said that the left goat is Lashem, and they're going to go and take it and put it in the right goat, in the right hand for the right goat, and that's no good. Now, so what are they saying? This is just so that you don't give the minim the opportunity to mock us. But if not for that, but if not for that, you could go ahead and switch it. Wait, but you had a lottery, and the lottery should be what does it, and you didn't do it, which means if Rabbi Akiva essentially says, oh, you can switch it, just don't let them mock us, that means that it's okay to switch, meaning the lottery really doesn't matter. Whatever you do is going to be okay, and the lottery is not ma'akev. One second, let me just complete that. But you said that the lottery is necessary, and if you miss the lottery, it's going to be invalid. So the Gemara says, once it's already set on the left, how can you switch it to the right? Amar Rava, so Rava said, this is what they means. Doesn't mean to switch the lottery from one hand to the other. Of course, the left goat is going to have to be the one. But what he should do is, after he's pronounced it, say the left one is the one that's Lashem, move the goat and the lottery around to the right, and move the goat and the lottery around to the left. So he's not changing the goat. It's already pronounced, but maybe he can change it to the right side so it looks more respectable the way they liked it. And to that he said, even though that it's valid, don't let the minim, lirdos, don't let the early Christians mock us. Yes.
They used the term in art scroll Sadducees instead of the early Christians.
Yes, but that was a change by the censors. The Christian censors took out the words minim many times and put in the Sadducees because they were happy to not be Sadducees, but they didn't want any negative mention in. So the early Christians censored a lot of lines in the Talmud, and this is one of them. All right. Yashikach, everybody. Have a great Shabbos. And tomorrow afternoon, hour before Mincha, in person, right here, right